Hi students, have a nice day. In this video we are going to learn ninth physics. The topic name is fluids part 2. Our first topic is measurement of atmospheric pressure. The instrument used to measure atmospheric pressure is called barometer. A mercury barometer, first designed by an Italian physicist Torricelli, consists of a long glass tube filled with mercury and turned upside down into a container of mercury. The barometer works by balancing the mercury in the glass tube against the outside air pressure. If the air pressure increases, it pushes more of the mercury up into the depth, and if the air pressure decreases, more of the mercury drains from the tube. As there is no air trapped in the space between mercury and the closed end, there is vacuum in that space. Vacuum cannot exert any pressure. So, the level of the mercury in the tube provides a precise measure of air pressure, which is called atmospheric pressure. This type of instrument can be used in a lab or weather station. Next, we move to gauge pressure and absolute pressure. For example, for pressure higher than the atmospheric pressure, when atmospheric pressure and gauge pressure combine, we get absolute pressure. Another one, for pressure is lower than atmospheric pressure, absolute pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure minus gauge pressure. First, we see about Pascal's law. Pascal's principle is named after Blaise Pascal in 1623 to 1662, a French mathematician and physicist. The law states that the external pressure applied on an incompressible liquid is transmitted uniformly throughout the liquid. Now let's learn about hydraulic press. Pascal's law became the basis for one of the important machines ever developed, the hydraulic press. It consists of two cylinders of different cross-sectional areas as shown in this picture. They are fitted with position of cross-sectional area small a and capital A. The object to be lifted is placed over the piston of large cross-sectional area A. The force F1 is applied on the position of small cross-sectional area A. The pressure P produced by small piston is transmitted equally to large piston. A force F2 acts on A, which is much larger than F1. So we get P is equal to F by A. That means P is equal to F1 by A1. On applying Pascal's law, the pressure on large piston of A will be the same as that on small piston. Therefore, P is equal to F2 divided by A2. So, comparing equation 1 and 2, we get F2 is equal to F1 into A2 divided by A1. Since the ratio A2 divided by A1 is greater than 1, the force F2 that acts on the larger piston is greater than the force F1 acting on the smaller piston. Hydraulic systems working in this way are known as force multipliers. Next we move to density. The density of a substance is the mass per unit volume of a given substance. That means the density is equal to mass divided by volume. Its SI unit is kilogram per meter cube. Also gram per centimeter cube. The symbol for density is rho. So rho is equal to m by v. Here rho means density and m means mass and v means volume. Now let's learn about relative density. We can compare the density of two substances by finding their masses. But generally, density of a substance is compared with the density of water at 4 degrees Celsius because density of water at the temperature is 1 gram per centimeter cube. The ratio of the mass of a given volume of a substance to the mass of an equal volume of water at 4 degrees Celsius also denotes the relative density. Next we move to application of principle of flotation. First, what is meant by floating? Whether an object will sink or float in a liquid is determined by the density of the object compared to the density of the liquid. If the density of the substance is less than the density of the liquid, it will float. Now let's learn about hydrometer. A direct reading instrument used for measuring the density or relative density of the liquid is called hydrometer. Hydrometer is based on the principle of flotation. That is, the weight of the liquid displaced by the immersed portion of the hydrometer is equal to weight of the hydrometer. The liquid to be tested is poured into the glass jar. The hydrometer is gently lowered into the liquid until it floats freely. The reading against the level of liquid touching the tube gives the relative density of the liquid. Hydrometer may be calibrated for different uses such as lactometers for measuring the density of milk and psychrometer for measuring the density of sugar in a liquid and alcoholometer for measuring higher level of alcohol in spirits. Now let's learn about lactometer. One form of hydrometer is the lactometer, an instrument used to check the purity of milk. The lactometer works on the principle of gravity of milk. Inside the lactometer, there may be a thermometer extending from the bulb up into the upper part of the test tube where the scale is located. The correct lactometer reading is obtained only at the temperature of 60 degree Fahrenheit. A lactometer measures the cream content of milk. More the cream, lower the lactometer floats in the milk. The average reading of normal milk is 32. Lactometers are used at milk processing units and dairies. Now let's learn about buoyancy. We already saw that a body experiences an upward force due to the fluid surrounding when it is partially or fully immersed into it. We also know that pressure is more at the bottom and less at the top of the liquid. This pressure difference causes a force on the object and pushes it upward. This force is called buoyant force and the phenomenon is known as buoyancy. Most buoyant objects are those with a relatively high volume and low density. If the object weighs less than the amount of water it has displaced, buoyant force will be more and it will float. But if the object weighs more than the amount of water it has displaced, buoyant force is less and the object will sink. Our next topic is Cartesian diver. A Cartesian diver is an experiment that demonstrates the principle of buoyancy. It is a pen cap with clay. The Cartesian diver contains just enough liquid that it barely floats in a path of the liquids. Its remaining volume is filled with air. When pressing the bath, the additional water enters the diver, thus increasing the average density of the diver, and thus it sinks. Now let's learn about Archimedes' principle. Archimedes' principle is the consequence of Pascal's law. According to legend, Archimedes devised the principle of the hydrostatic balance after he noticed his own apparent loss in weight while sitting in his bath. Archimedes' principle states that a body immersed in a fluid experiences a vertical upward buoyant force equal to the weight of the fluid it displaces. When a body is partially or completely immersed in a fluid at rest, it experiences an upthrust which is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by it. Due to the upthrust acting on the body, it apparently loses a part of its weight and the apparent loss of it is equal to the upthrust. Next we move to laws of flotation. Laws of flotations are the weight of a floating body in a fluid is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the body. And second point, the center of the gravity of the floating body and the center of the buoyancy are in the same vertical line. The point through which the force of buoyancy is supposed to act is known as center of buoyancy. Students, Listen the videos carefully and study well. Thank you, students.